Welcome back, everybody, to Unconditional Surrender. Me, myself, and I play through the main event scenario. Game is designed by Salvatore Vasta, published by GMT Games. We're getting ready to enter into the September 1944 Soviet Operations phase. And I will start my timer. This will probably go to 2 parts, just like the Western Allies ones did, because there's so much to do. Unfortunately, the Russians don't have vast air superiority, but they do have to do something. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so let's get up the national tracks here. And we'll zoom in a bit. We're going to activate the first shock army. It's not actually going to attack anything. It's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, it could attack there. 5, 6. I think I want to have it do this instead. So it's going to move to there. It's not going to attack because it can't. It doesn't have the movement points. Then we'll activate the 7th Guards. Take me down to 49. And he will attack this garrison. Garrison is now isolated, so I am +1 because I'm elite, and +2 for isolation, -1 for the city, and I'm a 0. And it costs me 3 movement points, so I have 7 left. So, we'll try it here without any commitment here. We won't throw a tanks marker at this point. So it's +2 to 0. Russians roll. 5 + 2 is a 7. Germans roll a 2. That's a garrison unit that goes down. That can just be deleted. He will take the hex. So that costs him 3 movement points. And now he can go 1 to there. So that would be 6 movement points left. And then he will attack the 15th, is it? Yes, he'll attack here. Yeah, we're trying to draw in his airplanes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want him to use up his airplanes if we can. So we have a bit of a quantity. The Russians could throw in an airplane and a tanks marker. Germans could throw in an airplane. The Russians throw in both. They'd be +2, +4. Right now they're at +1 as an elite. They can add a tanks marker and an airplane to be up to a +5. And I'm a +2 because I'm a face-up German. And then if he throws in an airplane, then he'd be +4. It'd be +5 to +4. And I could possibly stop him right here. So from the German perspective, I think we have to throw the airplane. Because that's, pure, clear terrain that we can't have too big of a disparity there. And from the Russian standpoint, am I trying to save my airplanes for other things? This could just be a feint attack if I was the Russians, planning on doing other things with my airplanes and get him to use up his. But he definitely wants to stop me from just taking these clear hexes and start pushing back on lines. Oh boy, German. Do you need to stop him here? Or do you let him blow through? See, the thing is, if I get a really bad die roll here, like if he's +5 and I'm +2 and he rolls like a 6 and gets an 11 and I roll like a 1, he could flip me, retreat me into Warsaw. Actually, that's not too bad. He can't. +5 he would be. At best he can get an 11. Worst I can be is a 3, so he can't eliminate me. So from the Germans' perspective, I think I want to save the airplane for the 6th up here. Or if there's a follow-up attack on the 15th, maybe I use it there. But this initial attack will just basically retreat him into Warsaw, and the line is still pretty solid. It's if I get pushed out of Warsaw, or the 6th gets broken, then he can just kind of keep chasing me along the sides here and kind of encircle everything, both in the center and to the north. So I think I have to, oh boy, save the airplane. I still have it one more time for there. Okay, from the German perspective, he's going to throw the airplane. From the Russian perspective, it's like, if I can blow this up, get him into a DD. 1, 2, 3, 5. I'm just barely within range of this airplane. So I think we'll commit with both sides. Both sides decide to commit. The Russians commit their aircraft first. Germans commit theirs. And then the Russians commit. The Germans committed. I could just go in at a +3 to +4 and just have had him use up an aircraft sortie, and that would save my tank marker. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to save my tanks marker to maybe attack him after I've dealt with his airplanes. Yes, that's what I'm going to do. So we fight in air combat. The Russians are at -4. The Germans are -4 +2 for Germans, so that they're a net of -2. Russians roll a 1, that makes them a 1. The Germans roll a 5, -2 is a 3, so that's 2 sorties on the Russians. If you don't believe me, a 1 to a 3 is 2 sorties, +2 there. They both get through, but that Russian airplane's gone, and I still have a sortie left on this one. Germans go up to +4, and the Russians are at, I'm going the wrong way. +1 for a lead, +2 for an airplane. They did not throw a tanks marker, so it's +3 to +4. And the Russians roll 3 + 3 is a 6. Germans roll 5 + 4 is a 9. So 6 to a 9 is an AS, so that is stopped and ends that attack. Okay, now the Russians will move this airplane. Which airplane am I going to move? I gotta clear out some boxes here so I can see all my airplanes. Which airplane am I going to move? I think I'll move this one that's way back there forward. Takes a sortie. Before I do anything else, let's activate this one. See, I've spent 3 so far. Right? Spent 3. I'm going to activate a regular infantry guy. That's 8 or 4. He's going to go 1, 2, and then attack the first garrison for 3 more. So he has 3 left. Oops. And he will be a net of +1, and the defender is at 0. He's 0 because he's a just regular Russian, but he's +2 because this guy is now isolated, and then -1 for the city. So it's +1 to a 0, and I get to do that twice if I roll well. Russians roll a 1 + 1 is a 2. That's not rolling well. Germans roll a 4, and if I check, 2 to a 4 is an AS, so that ends that combat. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 that I've spent. Gee, I moved the sortie marker. I didn't move the airplane to Breslowitz. Alright, let's have the first guards activate for 2. First guards army, guards motorized army. And he will attack this garrison. He is +1 because he's elite, +2 because he's isolated, -1. So now it's a +2 to a 0. That cost me 3 movement points, so I still have 7 left. And the Russians are all 5 + 2 is a 7. Germans are all a 1. 7 to a 1 is a DD. So this guy goes onto the faction track, but no national will is lost. This becomes Russian as I take the hex, and I will. The most important part there for the Russians is that it gains them a factory. So they're up to 13 since they lost one to strategic warfare. That's kind of important that they get a factory back there. Oh, and they've also picked up one at Brest. So they're up to 14. 14 minus 2 is 12, plus 6 is 18, plus 9 is 27. So I'll have 54 production points next turn. Anyway, I have 7 movement points left here. Don't know what to do with them. Actually, I do. I think I'm going to move to here. Maybe attacking at a 0 to +2. So maybe I throw a tanks marker to give him +3 to +2. Can his airplane reach 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? No, his airplane can't reach there. So I think here is where I'm going to throw my first tanks marker. The Germans don't have anything that they can play. So that makes me a +3 - 1, makes me a +2 to his +2. The reason why I do that is I retreat at this point. He can't retreat to into either enemy friendly hex, and the other two are in zones of control. So he can't. Yeah, you can't retreat. So that's what I want to do. Sorry, I had to think about that for a second. I was like, do I really want to do that? So that cost me another movement point to move adjacent to him, and then 3 more to attack him. So right now it's +2 to +2, and we'll just see what happens. Russians are all 2 + 2 is a 4. Germans can't be retreated. 6 + 2 is an 8. So 4 to an 8 is an AS, so that whole thing stops. So the Germans stop that attack. Okay. Now I think I move up this airplane here. He's going to move up to evolve. Takes a sortie. Then he flies against the German. It doesn't matter what the German rolls. We each only have 1 sortie, so just negate the German critter. And that will let me be able to move this Guards tank army. 1, 2, 3. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 out of 52. So I should be at 46. No, 44. There we go. Okay. Where did I go? Here I am. So I went 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5 to go after the infantry. Attacking the armor is not something to do here. It just won't work. +3 to +4 just won't work, so I don't even bother. I try to go after something, or at least I have a minor plus. Now, I could try to make a big boom here and throw my airplane. And maybe I don't want to do that. I'll put him back where he came from. I'm going to spend 2 to activate this tanks army first. I'm going to do this one first. That way I might have a chance to get him in isolation. So we're going to move this guy here. That's 1. And then 2 to attack, so he has 7 left. He's going to attack the 6th. No, he's not. Before I do that, I always forget to move this airplane. He is going to move into Canis, take a sortie, and then I do this. And then he flies. So that I'm +3, +4, +5. And +5 to his +2. And we see what happens. Russian rolls. 2 + 5 is a 7. German rolls. 1 + 2 is a 3. 7 to a 3 is a DR. So the German has to retreat. Doesn't like his retreat options, but I guess he's going to go here, because that will keep him in zones of control. If he advances, which he will advance, there's no point to not advancing. And then he'll spend 2 more and attack at +3 to +2. And he rolls a 2, +3 is a 5. The Germans roll 1 + 2 is a 3, and a 5 to a 3 is a DR. So he gets to retreat again. Go into East Prussia. Now the Russian's not so sure he wants to advance. He goes out there, I'm not sure I can get myself back in supply, and I really don't want to be low supply facing German infantry and armor, and even in an assault, he'll probably be able to isolate me and crush it. So I really don't want to risk my Guards tank army that way. So instead, I'm going to throw it, since I can't move out of zones of control, I'm going to go ahead and try and do something to this 9th, because he can't retreat now. He has no retreat routes again. So I'll spend 3 to attack the 9th. So he's not in the hot seat anymore. He is. And it's a net of +2 to +2. So I'm +1 for elite, +2 for armor, -1 for the terrain. Oh, and I'm +2. Oh, he's not isolated. So, yeah, there we go. So it's +2 to +2. And the Russians roll 4 + 2 is a 6. And the Germans roll 5 + 2 is a 7. No, we're not going to. Nothing going to happen there. So, never mind. Well, I don't have him isolated, but now I will go ahead and find this guy. 1, 2, 3. Again, I better count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I should be down to 42, and I'm not. Okay. And then this attack here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 5 left. Oops, 5 left. And that makes me a +3 to his +2. Didn't quite get an isolation on him because he's adjacent to a city. I just realized I couldn't get him isolated anyway. Do we go for the big attack now? I think we go for the big attack now. So throw my airplane in. That's +5 to +2 because I get an extra 2 for the aircraft. And +5 to +2, the Russians roll 2 + 5 is a 7. Germans roll 5 + 2 is a 7, so nothing happens. Russians will spend 2 more. This time it'll be +3 to +2. Russians roll 1 + 3 is a 4. The Germans roll 3 + 2 is a 5, which is also a diamond. So we do it again. +3 to +2. 5 + 3 is an 8. And they rolled a 5. +2 is a 7. So the 15th Army has held its own. Not what I wanted to see here. Well, let's go do our dastardly deeds here. What dastardly deeds do we want to do? I think we want to take this guards tank army. 2 more. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And he attacks the Hungarian. And it would be a net of a +2 to a 0. Yeah. I'll throw in my airplane. So now it's +4 to 0. And the Russians roll. That cost me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's all my movement points. I don't have anything left. And at +4, I roll 4 plus 4 is an 8. The Hungarians roll a 6 and say, no, you cannot have the hex. We will not give you the hex. You may not have the hex. So there, no hex for you. Which is very annoying. Okay, let's take our... One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This guy can get to here, 7. That's 2 more, so 38. I'm going to throw another tanks marker here to see if I can break this part of the Tisa. So I'm +3, -1 for the river, so I'm a total of +2, and he's +2 because he's German. I'm just trying to get him to retreat. That way I can run this tanks army in and grab Solzhenitsyn. And so on. So let's see what happens. +2 to +2, the Russians roll. 5 + 2 is a 7. Germans roll. 2 + 2 is a 4. 7 to a 4 is a retreat. So we can push. This German has to retreat. He can retreat to here, or he can retreat to here. And that cost him all of his movement points to get there, because it was 7 + 3. This armored unit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He could actually attack Budapest and try for a lucky attack. So we're going to put this in front of him. Make him attack the real infantry first. Okay. Tanks marker goes on turn track. Next turn. And just as I said, this guy's going to activate. I was even talking about it. And he goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and attacks the first. It's +2 to +2. And I have 2 movement points left. So I roll as the Russians at +2. 2 + 2 is 4. The Germans roll. 5 + 2 is 7. 4 to 7 is an AS, I believe. So it is. So that stops that attack. Why did I activate him? Running out of good things to do here. And we do have to clog up the 2nd Panzer some, but not getting the 15th to move really hurt. I kind of was hoping to move him, and it didn't work. I do have a guards army that's way back in Never Never Land. But I think I want to be able to attack with another guards army here. It'd be 0 to +2. I'd have to use my last tanks marker to try and get him to flip. I'd have to use the first score. 1, 2, 5, 6. So I can get him. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can get that guy over there. Do I want to go after this with the guards tank? Or do I want to go Ooh, I think I want to go over there with the guard's tank. Okay, guard's tank's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh. 3, 4, 5. No, he's not. We're going to try and attack this guy here. Try and get something going. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's got 5 movers points left. And he attacks the 9th. He's +1. And he's going to throw the last tanks marker here. So I'm +3, -1, so I'm +2 to +2. Russian rolls. 3 + 2 is a 5. Germans roll. 4 + 2 is a 6. That's a diamond. And where are we? Turn track. Tanks go back up there. He's activated. I should have spent 2 for him. Now it would be +1 to +2, or +0 to +2 for one more attack. It's a pot shot in the dark, but I got nothing else to do with him. So it's +0 to +2. Russians roll 5. Germans roll a 6. +2 is an 8, so that's an attack or stop anyway, so it doesn't matter. Russians are having a terrible time. Well, let's activate this guy and get him up to the front. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. Activate this shock army. Have him go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he's got 3 left. And normally he would end up being a +1 net, and the Hungarian is -2 because he's just that kind of thing. +1 for elite, +1 for shock, -1 for mountains, and he's -2 because he's a garrison. So +1 to -2. Russians roll 7. Roll 5, -2 is a 3. 7 to a 3 is a DR. So he gets retreated. I move up here. I'll spend 2 more to attack the 3rd again. And he will be -2, and I will be +2 because I'm not attacking into any bad terrain this time. And the Russians roll a 2. +2 is a 4. How terrible. And Hungarians roll a 2. -2 is a 0, which rounds up to a 1. They're supposed to retreat, but they can't. So that goes in the eliminate box. Now I could take that hex, but then I'd have to move. Because there's another shock army, there's infantry in to keep me in supply. That's not a good thing to do here, I don't think. So I think I'm just going to leave that shock army there. And that's my alarm for the end of the first part of the Soviet. For the first part of Soviet operations. So we will go and call this here. I will double check my Soviet activations and make sure they're right before we start up the next video. I'm Dren608. If you like my videos, please subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. We will return with the rest of the Soviet operations phase, and if we have time, we'll do the end of turn stuff, or I may have to tack that on as a separate little video at the end, depending on how much more I have to do with the Russians. I'm not quite sure, but we'll be back in a little bit with the second part of the Russian turn. Until then, bye-bye.